Now for the good of the order.
Well, last Saturday, we three commissioners were at the Napa Vine Fun Time Festival.
Yep.
And it looked like there was a lot of people there. And the STP was rolling through parts of Napa Vine at the same time, which was an interesting logistical matter there. And the reenactment of Civil War battles was happening, and I went there yesterday, and I was just amazed once again every time I go to that to see the reenactors there interacting with kids to talk about the Civil War on both sides. And it's really a jewel that we have here, and I think part of our LTAC funds went for that event. So it's nice to see that happening and a lot of people coming to it and learning more about the Civil War. Some folks have said, why even do this? Well, it's a piece of history we need to remember, and it's good for kids and us to do that and talk to these reenactors and what was life like, and to see the battles and the booming going on. And one person said, well, what are those ladies doing on the side? And there was like 5 ladies that would walk towards the battlefield, and they're in their beautiful dresses. In some places during the battlefield, they knew a battle was going to happen, so people would come to watch, which is, not the picture of war that I'm accustomed to seeing, but that's what happened during part of those battles.
Also, thank CJ and Tony for coming all the way from Packwood. I remind everyone it's 75 miles.
Yes.
It's a long ways. So anyway, so it's a beautiful drive today, that's for sure. So anyway, thank you guys for being here. Very much appreciated.
And what we learned on Facebook yesterday, that it was so busy in Packwood that one of the restaurants ran out of food. It was that busy. Packwood is just booming these days.
Yeah. So. Okay, anything else? Okay, we'll continue on with the press conference. If we have any questions or comments.
I have information, not comments or
Okay,
questions.
information, whatever, we'll take information.
We at Packwood would just like to invite everyone out to our fireside events on Saturday nights from 7:30 to 9:30. This coming Saturday night, we have the Annoying Rogues playing again, and they're not annoying. They're a lot of fun, lots of dancing and free s'mores and great music. We usually get, when they are playing, we get 150 to 200 people out, and it's just a lot of fun. Also, we have our Oktoberfest coming up, our first annual. And first, we would like to invite anyone in Lewis County that would like to come out and help us and volunteer. It's going to take a village. But it's September 29th and 30th. We'll have an open ceremony on Friday night at 7. We're hoping to get Commissioner Stamper and Lederhosen. We'll talk about that.
I'll travel 75 miles.
We figured that'll be a draw.
Yeah, right.
We'll have lots of traditional...
Till they see me and then they'll leave.
We'll have lots of traditional Oktoberfest music, food, and of course, the famous beer house. And we'll also have a little village under the trees and lights of German vendors, etc. And then the special thing is we're going to only sell 50 tickets to a VIP upscale German dinner, which will include schnapp tasting. And so as soon as we're going to set the pricing this coming Saturday, and we'll have those tickets available. So we'd like to invite everyone.
And wasn't this one of your LTAC?
It is. The Oktoberfest, both actually, Fireside and Oktoberfest are possible through grants through the lodging tax funding. So thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I wanted to thank, well, I bet you're going to talk about this too, but I wanted to thank the 2 committees that finished their work last week, the Blue Ribbon Task Force, who spent
Yes.
a number of hours, weeks working on that, and the senior transition team. We're handing over, I think, 17 names, and I
17,
think
yes.
Ron Averill's name was one of those, to the nonprofit senior team. And I bet you're going to be talking a bit about
Yes, that's what Ron Averill from Centralia area. I'll go ahead and cover that first. Then But we had the meeting last Friday with the senior board, and all but two of the proposed candidates for the board attended the meeting. I don't think that we were prepared that we are now in charge. The current board turned it over to us. And so we've asked at least the presidents of each of the senior centers to attend our meetings for a few months to help us transition in. There, as I say, there are 17 of us, and they selected all 17. And we're having a meeting.
The current, or last week, it was the current
The current seniors board, yes.
senior board, and they
No.
received
So,
your resume.
you know, so not only did the folks select us, but they said, okay, our work is finished, you're it. And part of this, of course, is the contract on the congregate feeding program, because if that has to be submitted, and we have to have officers of the current board, since it's a 2018 contract involved in that. So that was the basic reason for the turnover. Many of us want to know a lot more, and so we're having our first meeting this Thursday at the Twin Cities Senior Center in the evening to sort of look at where we are. And we selected only a temporary president until we get to know each other a little bit better.
Are you that person?
Yeah, from PL. Okay, the second issue is the PFD, the Public Facilities District. I also serve on that board, and we had our first meeting of the Sports Commission last week, and we didn't have a whole lot of them show up. There are 13 positions that are on the Sports Commission, but we had about 5, I think, didn't we, Susan, that showed. And they had an opportunity to do their talking. The PFD is prepared a set of bylaws for them to look at. We're going to ask that they look at them too, because it's their bylaws. But that, of course, is we're really looking forward to that. We're actually, the money, the first piece of money has already come in. It was $15,000. And we've worked with the county to set up, because the memorandum which establishes the Sports Commission for Centralia and Chehalis and not the county. And so we had a little bit of a concern here at the county about how that the money would move from the treasurer's office to the Sports Commission, and we got that resolved last week. So we'll be establishing a separate bank account for them, and they'll get started. And we have great hopes for that. There are things that the Sports Commission can do that the other members of the Sports Hub there in Centralia can't, and it relieves us of trying to spend public funds for things that promote activities coming into the area. So we're looking at great things for the Sports Commission.
Who's on the Sports Commission, or how were they selected?
Well, when the MOA was created by the cities, we established that the two high schools, Centralia and Chehalis, athletic directors would be on it. We have someone from both of the cities. Candy, kind of help me here. Yeah, the rec departments of the cities. Yeah, the hub and one of the groups that brings events in. So we're getting people that are involved in the activities that are going on predominantly. And what we've done, and then there will be 3 at-large members, but the MOA stipulates the first group, and that group selects the 3 at-large members, so that we have the 13 total.
Okay.
All right, thank you.
Thanks, sir. Anyone? Mr. Martin?
I just wanted to just take a minute, she's not here, but say a little bit more about Robin Celine, your employee of the quarter here. She is really, really, really valuable to our department. Not only has she brought in literally millions of dollars. I mean, I've actually seen checks that she has received from FEMA with 7 figures on them, come through my desk. That's all reimbursed money that we have already spent that we get back from FEMA. Not only that, when FEMA comes here, they are always so complimentary and praise the department so much because of the work of people like Robin. They really see Lewis County as sort of the model for how to go about getting reimbursed from FEMA. And Robin is sort of the straw that stirs the drink, the one that makes that all happen. And so I can't stress enough how important she is to our department and what a great job she does. So I'm glad that she got that award. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
I was going to mention about, we have 2 boards that have turned over, and we appreciate their work, but we have other boards that need volunteers, and we are still looking for folks to participate in the budget process with us. So we're going to be choosing 1 person from each district, and that needs to be submitted by 3 p.m. Friday, July 28th. And then we have the Water Conservancy Board, and that also has a deadline of Friday, July 28th at 3 o'clock. And the last one I'm going to be talking about, it's for another board. It's from the Board of Supervisors for the Chehalis Basin. We happen to be the county commissioners in this room, but we have meetings of the Chehalis Basin Subzone District, and we are the supervisors of that district. So for that district, I'd like to put out another group that we'd like to have folks apply to be on the advisory committee for the Chehalis River Basin Flood Control Zone District. And applications are due there to Laura Sealer in Public Works at 3 o'clock on Friday, July 28th. So that's a big day, July 28th at 3 o'clock. Get your applications in for any of these volunteer positions.
Eric, along those notes, I know that we are going to revitalize the Cowlitz River Flood Authority also, or the, what's it called, not the
Zone
Flood
District.
Authority.
Cowlitz River Basin Flood Control Zone District.
Control
Yes,
Zone.
absolutely.
So that obviously be a different set of people, so maybe we could work to, because I think I could probably go out and do a little recruiting there. I think that I've got some people that are very, very interested in,
That's good.
and I know that you brought it up, and I know that former Commissioner Averill there also, would like to see some things like that happen too. And I would too, because I think they feel a little left out. Not that it's not important, but it's obviously out here, and Chehalis is the bigger fish at this time, but I think there are some issues that are occurring right now. So I think that'll be a good opportunity.
Yeah, absolutely. What I'd like to do is carve out a little bit of time at our next Flood Control Zone District meeting where you will adjourn as the Chehalis Basin supervisors and then reestablish yourselves as the Cowlitz Basin supervisors, and we can have some of those discussions at that time about how we'd like to organize that district
Okay.
as well. So.
Yeah. Okay, thank you. Very much appreciated.
Ron Averill again. Just while we're on the flood control zone districts, I think it'd be appropriate to point out that when we originally looked at this, we have a 3rd basin in the county that's large. Actually, we're in it's 5 to 8 basins that currently are within Lewis County, but some of them, like the upper Deschutes, they're not in populated areas and things of that nature. But the 3rd is the Nisqually. And we do have a Lewis County population in the Nisqually River Basin. It's basically up there in the Paradise development that you have to go through Ashford to get into. And
Lewis County into Pearson, down into
Yeah.
Lewis County again.
And then the other one is Pleasant Valley Road up there. There are some folks there. But it's a relatively small population, so at the time that we created the Chehalis and the Cowlitz, we didn't see the need to create one for the Nisqually Basin. And the Nisqually, the areas of the Nisqually that really get in trouble much are in the monument, the Rainier Monument, and so the federal government does most of the work there. There are some problems, but you've got two dams that are up there, Grand and Alder and Grand, and so and those help control a lot of that, and as does the Nisqually River Council. So we decided not to form that one until there was some demonstrated need for it. But I think these are important. Now, I did have a question. We had already people on the Chehalis Basin. Have all of those terms expired? Is that why we're going out?
We're making it to 9 members now.
Okay.
Larger.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you, sir. Any other questions? Commissioner?
I just want to take a moment and talk about 911 communications here in Lewis County. Recently, I was appointed to the Enhanced 911 Advisory Committee for Western Washington. I'm really excited about that appointment because it will give Lewis County a voice as far as what's going on the state level with 911. The federal government has developed a brand new generation 911 system. It's called ESINet. And their goal with this is to retire legacy 911. In other words, the only way 911 has ever been used is via telephone. Now with technology, we have other avenues in which to be able to utilize our 911 system. And so the ESINet is something that is going to be made available to all the states. The state of Washington was one of the first in line to develop a contract with the federal government. We will have ESINet here in the state of Washington very quickly. It'll probably be sometime in early 2018. One of the concerns we had was that there had been a call on the state level or apparently a call, as we understood it, for some consolidation. And Lewis County, because we're a median county, we do not receive an awful lot of state money for 911, whereas the smaller counties get a nice big chunk from the state. We all seem to pick on Garfield County as one of the smallest counties, but Garfield's a prime example of how much money was coming in. And then the larger counties, King, Snohomish, those areas, also get a nice large investment from the state, whereas the median counties were at times kind of the redheaded stepchild. And so there was a bit of a concern for us as to whether or not we would be included in being a primary PSAP, which that's a primary source of information and communications. And I've had a chance to meet twice with the state director, Adam Wasserman. Dave Anderson and I were up there last Thursday and meeting with him, and Lewis County is all the primary PSAPs in the state will be funded for ESINet. In other words, the state's going to install the system and they're going to pay for it.
That's refreshing.
Yes, it is. I think most of that's going to be federal money anyway, but we will be a primary, and according to the state law, it is up to the county to continue to provide 911 communication system. It's our responsibility to do so. And so where a lot of counties, when they get this information and they get this technology, this is the first step for them, whereas for us it's step 3, because we have replaced our radio console equipment upstairs, also our telephone system. All of those are NG 911 compliant, so we are already 2 steps ahead of the process. The one thing that we have to do is to begin to deal with the equipment, the radio equipment that is in the field at different locations, because we do have some of that equipment is at end of life, and that's a discussion that's ongoing, is how to get that replaced. I don't think there's not a lot of grant funding for that sort of thing. And so that's one of our issues that we're dealing with right now. But this system is going to be made available to anyone that wants it, but the primary PSAP, such as Lewis County, will be funded by the state, whereas the secondary PSAPs, if there are secondaries, will be, the technology will be available to them, but they're going to have to pay for that themselves. The state's not going to pay for that. And so a lot of conversations are going on. We're very, very pleased and excited and grateful that we are going to, continue to be considered a primary, which the state in their wisdom decided that all the ones that were already primaries will get the funding for this and they will get the system. So as we move forward, our hope is that this will continue to improve what we're doing upstairs. The numbers are showing us that we're above the national average as far as response, and the amount of possible problems that we've had, we've been able to minimize that considerably. And so this is going to help us move forward to provide better service. And one of the things that's a part of the long-range plan of the county is that we move our emergency management 911 out of this building onto a new location where we can have a state-of-the-art building that's able to handle the increase in technology as we move down the line. So these things are always in front of us. Sometimes, we've talked about this, Commissioner Fun, with flooding. Sometimes flooding tends to be out of sight, out of mind. And, when you're in the middle of an event, that's when most people will start thinking about it. But as commissioners, our job is to keep those things in front of us at all time, because we know there will be events coming, and we know there's going to be events happening all over the county. And so we're continuing to work on these things, to improve our quality of safety in the county. So some good stuff coming down the line.
Thank you, sir. Okay, anything else?
With no further business, I move to adjourn.
Second?
A motion is made and second to adjourn. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? We're adjourned. Thank
Thank
you
you,
very
everyone.
much for being here.
You are invited to immerse yourself in the beauty of nature in all four corners of Lewis County, Washington. From our fields to your table, farms in the west share their bounty. Limitless landscapes, forests and mountains beg to be explored in the east. Fish our many rivers and lakes in the south, and discover where history and culture intersect in our twin cities. Explore it all by visiting our Facebook page and plan your next getaway at discoverlewiscounty.com. Culture, history, and adventure all come alive when you discover Lewis County.